Hi, Allie.
Hi, Cece. I am so excited for today's episode because I feel like today's kind of a fun one, especially for us since we are predominantly on Facebook. But today we are going to be talking about scams and Facebook scams.
Ooh.
And I think that this is kind of a fun one for us because answering some of our comments on social, I tend to see that we get a lot of people thinking that we're a scam. So I really want to help, people figure out how to tell the difference between a scam and not a scam, why we are not one, and just all things under that kind of umbrella.
Yeah, that's a great topic for today's is coffee talk. Clink, clink. Yeah, what a great topic. Because in today's day and age, I mean, in the digital world, you really have to be careful, with your blueprint and just these different companies out there, these different organizations. People are finding AI. Oh my goodness, that's another topic for another day. But just with the capabilities of now versus 5 years ago, 1 year ago, it's night and day. And I'm so glad that you're bringing up this topic so that we can talk about it today for sure. Um, so let's talk a little bit more about our stuff. I know that you're on our social channels and you're seeing comments pretty often of people saying that we're a scam. Like, why? Why are you seeing that? Oh, why do you think these people are posting that?
So I think for some people, one of the reasons that I think, starting is just there are a lot of Facebook scams out there. I think Facebook kind of makes it easy since a lot of the ways that companies advertise through Facebook is through links that they attach that then take customers or, take people who are on Facebook to an external link. And I think when people kind of see that external link, they get a little wary. I think that they don't fully understand exactly where they're being taken. They think that they're being taken to some random, site. They think that what would happen is essentially once you click the link, it kind of keeps you in Facebook and opens it. But what happens is it redirects you to the website completely. So I think that may be one of them. Another one is a lot of people tend to use Facebook on their phone. And I think sometimes different companies, the way that their website is laid out on, their phone interface versus a desktop can be a little bit different for the customers. But honestly, I think it's predominantly because there are so many scams going on
Yeah.
Facebook.
And that's such a good point. I'm gonna go on my phone right now and let me see if I can pull up how it looks if you go on My Pet Peed and what that little bar looks like. So
Mhm.
My Pet Peed, we're gonna go to the My Pet Peed site, and then we're gonna go to the My Pet Peed website from here.
Mhm.
Here it goes. Okay, mypetpeed.com. We're just gonna go to mypetpeed.com. Okay, so it went straight to it, but I think it's because I've done it before. But yes, that's a very good point, you guys. It will look a little bit nefarious, but basically, Facebook will give you a pop-up sometimes, and especially if it's your very first time, it'll give you a pop-up. And this isn't just for My Pet Peeve, this is just for any website that you're trying to visit outside of that platform. So outside of Facebook, right? And it'll be a pop-up box and it'll say redirecting to. It's not a scam. It just means that it's redirecting you to that website that's outside of Facebook because really Facebook doesn't want you to leave its platform. And so if it looks a little bit sketchy, don't worry about it. It just means that you're going to another website. Now, if you're going to a website that you shouldn't be going to, then that's another story. That's a problem. But in this case with My Pet Pete, it's just routing you to our website. That's it.
Exactly. And I think it's also really helpful to note that, just a little extra Google search, taking an extra, couple minutes just of your own time to look for it through another channel. I know that sometimes it can be like we said, there are scams that are real on Facebook, so it can be intimidating. But truthfully, we have resources in the palm of our hand that can help you, figure that stuff out a little bit further if you are worried. Also, like I always say, I'm also always there to answer the comments. So usually if you guys do feel like it's a scam, I want you to make sure that, you know that it isn't. So if you guys ever have questions, if there's a reason why you feel like it's a scam, I think another hard part is sometimes we have unverified resellers, and so customers will buy what they think is my pet peed and it is not my pet peed. So I think sometimes it's kind of a hard situation because it's not a scam. It hurts us, but we're not the scam. It is still technically the other person. So if you do feel like that, a lot of customers do ask where else you can buy my pet peed. Again, all of the links on our Facebook posts are genuine to us and they are from our company and they will take you directly to our website. But if you still have some caution or if you still feel a little, uneasy about it, you can also always order my pet peed on Amazon too. We have an Amazon storefront. I know a lot of people feel comfortable with that method as well. So I just always like to share that too in case people don't know that we're on Amazon.
Well, very, very great points. And it's I kind of want to touch base a little bit on when you said that they're resellers, and that it hurts our business. We're a small family business, you guys. It's a very small team. We operate in Houston, Texas, in a little suburb of Houston called Spring. And we have these resellers, these unauthorized resellers that try to mimic us and copy us and sell on Amazon. They try to sell on Walmart. And it's something that we always have to be on the lookout for, because what they'll do is they'll buy product from us, but then they'll try and resell it at a much higher cost to you guys and make it look like they're us, but they're not really us. And so if you see anything that's selling my pet peed, but it looks like it's a little bit off, or it's called something else, like the name of the company, I'm sorry, the bottle looks the same, but the name of the company is called something else,
Mhm.
please report it. Please let Allie know. Please share it with us so that we can work to stop these people, because it's not right. And we really want to look out for you guys, and so just a couple. What are some warning signs, Allie, of potential online scams?
So I think you stated truthfully the biggest one. If the name of the company is not the name of the brand that is on either the product itself or just what it is that you're doing, it is most likely a reseller. Now, don't get me wrong, there can be some verified resellers, but they will specifically state that they are verified. Most of the time, the company will have some sort of way of clarifying to you that this person is a verified reseller.
Mhm.
So always, always, always look out for that. I think another thing that's good to note, if it is asking you like more than I'd say two questions to get into a website, you most likely need to watch out for the website that you're going into. Some websites will obviously ask to make sure you're not a robot, and sometimes third-party ad, blockers will kind of react differently to different servers. But there are some questions to look out for if your computer is like big warning signs like this is a dangerous link, like do not watch out. But that is different, I want to clarify, than it saying you are being taken to an external link. There's a big difference. Being taken to an external link is not necessarily bad, but warning signs that the link that you're being taken to is risky is definitely what you should be looking out for.
Yes. So yeah, very, very good and very true. So I would say biggest tip on my end, you guys, is read. Read. If something says warning, then please, that's something that you should be very weary about. If the names don't match, if the name of the organization doesn't match the name of the company, then be careful of that. Um, let's see. What are two other warning signs that you can think of? Um,
This is just for me personally, and maybe this doesn't go across all boards, but I look out for typos always. Don't get me wrong, we're human. I make some typing errors in some of our comments in terms of an accidental capital where it needs to be a lowercase, but if there's more than two or three like spelling errors in something, I usually tend to be, I err on the side of caution just a little bit because, I know
Mhm.
what it takes for us as our company to make sure that what we're presenting to the public is
Right.
clear and it is well put together and it is organized. And sometimes if someone's throwing a website together really quick or is using some sort of AI to create the website, there may be some sort of error that, spelling wise or something that you can kind of see that is off. So,
Yeah, no, that's a very good one. And one that I thought of is, I mean, taking people's identity nowadays, it's rampant. Um, I would say if it's a website that asks you for your social security, and it's not something that requires your social security, like for example, buying my pet peed, right? They would never ask you for that. Now, if you were opening up a bank account with a verifiable bank, that's a different story. Or you're applying for a credit card, etc. That I get that, right? Something in financial, but buying a product and they ask you for your social security, please do not do it. Steer clear, get away. It's something where I don't know what it is, but it's definitely nefarious there. So okay, well, awesome. I mean, really good segment on. I mean, I hope you guys learned a lot of stuff. I
yeah,
have.
yeah.
So, um, oh, go ahead, Allie.
No, I was just gonna say if you guys ever have any questions too, I would love, maybe sometime further down the line if we could dive a little deeper into the scams and showing some people, the different maybe resources that are out there that can help some people. But I agree. I thought it was a great conversation, and I'm really excited for this next part.
Yes, so our next part, you guys have really loved it. We've gotten really good feedback on we're going to call this new segment our hot takes.
Thanks.
We're still coming with a
I'm
cool
so
theme
excited.
song.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. Don't worry, we'll get
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's
we'll
gonna
get
be a
there.
work in progress for a little bit.
We're going to
Um,
have like a cool little jingle for this little
yeah,
area. But
exactly, exactly.
essentially, for hot
Awesome.
takes, it's where Allie, as you guys know, she's the one that's, behind the computer answering all of your questions and doing a great job there. She's going to take our top social media questions of the week and we're just going to dive through two or three. And yeah, we're just going to talk about it and answer the questions that you guys have been asking about.
I'm really excited. So, for this first question, it is asking, how about the padding underneath? So, this customer was referencing when you are treating a rug or a carpet, and there's that padding underneath and the subfloor. If you have a carpet that's obviously like nailed in and you can't just lift it up to make sure that everything's clean underneath, how is it going to get clean? That is why we recommend saturating the area you're treating with My Pet Peed. And it's on the pamphlet. We say to saturate it. This way, there's enough product to work its way down through the padding and to the subfloor underneath. Then, once the formula is working and doing its magic, it lifts the stain and odor to the surface through the padding and the subfloor. So it is no longer in those two layers underneath the carpet,
Yes,
which is awesome.
absolutely. And have you guys ever had your dog or your cat pee on a spot in the carpet? You're cleaning it as best as you can, you're spraying, you're using everything. Doesn't matter if it's my pet peed or whatever. And the smell just never goes away. It goes away for a bit, but then a week later it comes back, and you're just left thinking this smell is forever. Well, the reason why, and even though you saturate the carpet, the reason why is because it's gotten down to the sub layer, the padding, and maybe anything else that you've had. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen carpet padding, but carpet padding is thick and it also depends on what else you have under there, right? So there's so many layers to it. I'll see if I can add a graphic in here to show you, but there's so many layers that your product has to penetrate all those layers. And so that's why when we say saturate, you really have to saturate. And then you want to put something over that area. We typically recommend like a laundry basket, so that it'll allow it to ventilate and allow it to dry, before allowing your pets or anyone come close to that area or that room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I hope that that graphic's able to work because I would love to be able to see that.
Yeah. I'll pull
Um,
something out, I'll add it.
perfect. So this next question is, does it take out the smell or just remove the stain? My Pet Peeve removes both the stain and the odor, which is awesome. And I understand why people may see that because sometimes the stain kind of goes away first and the odor is something that lingers just a little bit longer. But My pet pede is guaranteed to remove, like we said before, any organic matter from a human or pet, and that includes the stain and the odor that comes from that matter. So the odor from vomit, sweat odor, body odor, anything of that nature, my pet pede is there to help.
Absolutely, absolutely. With the usage of the product, you, there's probably a high likelihood that you're going to have to use it more than once. Follow the same protocol, right? But to remove it fully, you need to saturate, allow it to dry, and then probably saturate it again. We get this a lot too. Why does it smell so bad? Well, it smells bad initially because it's pulling up all of the gunk and the nastiness, and that's what you're smelling, not the product itself. And then once that goes away, then you're still going to be left with an odor, but then you spray it a second time and probably a third, fourth time, depending on how deep and how severe that stain is. And eventually it will lift everything. So you just have to be patient and you have to let the product do its work.
Yeah. And to
Mhm.
quick touch on that too, typical applications do take anywhere between 2 to 5, give or take. A lot of
Mhm.
customers think that it is just one, but every situation is different. Some fresh stains can be, removed with just one application. Other stains may take a few more. So do not
Mhm.
be turned away, or do not think that, you're doing anything wrong if it doesn't come out with just one application. So just to add that little thing to the end too. This last question is, does it just mask it, or does it actually remove the stain and odor so that the pet does not come back? So I think that this is a really important thing to note. My pet peed is not a deterrent. So although its initial purpose is not inherently to deter pets from coming back to the area, once the area has been treated, because my pet peed completely eliminates the odor and the bacteria, there is no real reason for the pet to go back. But some do, just because of behavioral things and just forces of habit. So just keep that in mind. But it does completely remove the smell, the bacteria, and the stain. So theoretically, a pet should not come back. There's nothing drawing them to the area. But like I said, sometimes, pets are just creatures of habit. So sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, yeah, very, very true. It's not a deterrent, and so it's a tool to help with behavioral issues like marking. But and then it can be used to pair with behavioral training, but it's not a miracle product that will prevent your that's designed to prevent your pet from remarking that spot. And that's something that we get a lot too. So now you guys know. Well, Allie, it's been a pleasure. I can't wait to do the next coffee talk with you. And I hope that you guys enjoy this episode and that you've learned a lot.
Yeah, the pleasure was all mine, Cece. I'm so happy we got to chat about this, and I can't wait for next week's.
Mhm. All right. Bye, you guys. Bye,
Bye.
Allie.
Bye, Cece.